It's showtime. I'm taking my family and I'm leaving.
If you fail to choose, the world will perish.
We've been given the chance to decide the fate of everyone.
Time's running out on the world. I'm scared.
What is up, everybody? It's your girl Nita, your favorite diva, and I am back for another movie review. The movie that I'm reviewing for you today is Knock at the Cabin. Save your family, save humanity. You make the choice, okay? This movie opens Friday in theaters, February the 3rd, and it is directed by none other than M. Night Shyamalan, written based on the 2018 novel The Cabin at the End of the World by Paul Tremblay. The screenwriting credits is M. Night Shyamalan, Steve Desmond, and Michael Sherman. Okay, it is starring Dave Bautista, Jonathan Groff, Ben Aldridge, Christian Key, among others. Okay, so the movie is classified as a horror, thriller, and mystery, rated R, clocks in at 1 hour and 40 minutes, and the synopsis reads: while vacationing, a girl and her parents are taken hostage by armed strangers who demand that the family make a choice to avert the apocalypse. And that is all I want to say because this is your spoiler-free review. If you're new to the channel, welcome and welcome back, Diva Squad. You know what we do here. I watch movies so you don't have to. I give you the good, bad, and everything in between with no spoilers, of course, and let you know whether or not you should know or go see it in theaters where it is exclusively playing tomorrow. So let's do like a quick little disclaimer about M. Night Shyamalan. Okay, you know he has been in the industry for a long time. He has a reputation. He is a man of, you either really love his projects or you may hate them. Not all, not it's never all, but it's always some. So however you feel, I have a love-hate relationship with his projects. And so I just want to let you know that. And if you want to know my ranking of some of my favorite M. Night Shyamalan films, stay tuned to the end of the video for my list. And I definitely want to know your list down in the comments below. So make sure you stick with it. Okay. So let's get into the good. Most of this movie took place in a cabin. Even with that premise, I think M. Night Shyamalan did a great job with creating an eerie atmosphere. I think that there were some very interesting angles and choices in the transitions and the camera work that was on display to keep you engaged and at the end of your seat. The acting was really, really good. If the acting hadn't been up to par, baby, I think this movie would have fallen flat. That being said, so the performances elevated the movie, okay? The standout was the child, Christian Key or whatever. Forgive me, darling. Don't really know, but she was adorable. She was definitely given, and this is her first role, and she killed it, y'all. She killed it. She was definitely given scared, vulnerable. Her two fathers were great as well. The one that caught my attention was Jonathan Groff, and his character just had a lot of things he was grappling with. I think both of them did, but for some reason, Jonathan's performance and the way his arc, um, where he ended up towards the end of the movie, really stood out for me. Dave Bautista, not to be overlooked or outdone, he gave a great performance. He looks so intimidating and demanding, this big physique that he has, and he's all tatted up and he's bald headed and all of those things. So, but he really came off very gentle and timid, and created, that was a delicate balance to actually portray in this character, because he was the biggest one and he really was the first one to make first contact, and you really could have really been super, super scared, which I think she was a little uncomfortable, but he was able to sell a more gentle and timid persona so that he could get close to the little girl. So we got the atmosphere going, the tension, the suspense, everything is building in the first and second acts. Mwah, it was great. It was like definitely kept your attention and all of that. And so let's get to the bad. So the the bad for me was it's an odd compliment for M. Night, but it's the lack of twists and turns for me. Um, his early filmography pretty much wrote his career into a corner where his audience is expecting like dynamic twists and turns and reveals. And not to say that there aren't any or many in here, but it just isn't of the caliber of, the M. Night that we know and sometimes love and sometimes hate. Okay. I think this movie is one of his most straightforward movies that he's made. The first and second act were doing great. And very suspenseful, very thrilling, very engaging, but it led to an anticlimactic third act that just wasn't satisfying for me. And for what the film was building up in anticipation, I just felt like it kind of fell flat as far as the ending was concerned. The movie wasn't scary at all. They call it a horror, and I am the scariest person on the face of the planet. Okay. So I think it was a total waste of an R rating. I could not believe that this was an R rated movie. Um, most of the kills were off screen. So don't think that you're going to get some gore candy and all of that. It's a no. They said some people say he left it up to your imagination. It's a no. I don't even see it that way because there was nothing creative. Everything was pretty much straightforward. You might as well just showed it if you weren't going to, pay off all of this. You could at least have done that, to me, in my opinion. There were a few pacing issues to give off the context, give some context to the characters. They were in this existential crisis, but um M. Night took time to go back and to show some flashbacks and why characters moved the way they moved, the decisions that they made, and all of the things. So he did provide some context, and that created a little bit of pacing issues because he's building the tension and the suspense, and then we get a flashback. And then so all of the tension that you built, and then we're just like, okay, so now we're just sitting here just getting some context. And we did it a couple of different times, and you know, and same thing with the four people, not to give you any spoilers, but something happens and it was repetitive. So there's that issue as well. Um it wasn't terrible, but it was enough. And the movie was a very concise 1 hour and 40 minutes. So I think it wasn't too bad. At least it wasn't like overly drawn out and then we had to keep doing the same thing. So I think it was in the sweet spot where you weren't looking at your clock, you weren't doing this, you weren't fidgety or nothing like that. It still kind of kept you on the edge of your seat. And also too, I want to warn and caution you about watching the full trailer, because if you watch the trailer, you've seen the movie. You've seen the cliff notes of the movie, okay? So be careful if you don't want to be not spoiled, but whatever. If you want to go see it and have the experience, then go do that. But I wanted to warn you about that. So before I give you my overall thoughts on Knock at the Cabin, why don't you take a minute and follow me on my social media? It's right there. So So for my overall thoughts on M. Night Shyamalan's Knock at the Cabin, it is a solid concept on paper and partially executed well. The first and second acts were filled with thrilling suspense, which was much more superior to the lackluster ending. The acting was really good with some breakout performances from Ben Aldridge and Christian Cui, and also Jonathan Gruff and Dave Bautista. The movie was aesthetically pleasing with some great camera angles and camera work. The ending left me feeling unsatisfied, and I felt like the movie could have went deeper with the development of the family, the close knit of their family. Like I really wanted to know and shit. And also too with the four strangers. And that way the movie would have been a little bit more emotionally gripping rather than just focusing on the existential crisis. So by the end, we were left with more questions than answers. And it's not his best work, but definitely not at the bottom of the barrel of his worst. Okay. So, for my Diva recommendations and my top 5 M. Night Shyamalan movies, and this is in no particular order, we have Split, Unbreakable, The Visit, Signs, and Sixth Sense. And I give this a 2.5 out of 5. And it's an okay movie, but I say no, you don't have to see it in theaters. Well, that'll do it for me for this review for Knock at the Cabin. If you like my review, you like the commentary, make sure you chime down in the comments below. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. Make sure you follow me on my socials. And if you have anything that you want to talk to me about, make sure you hit me up at me on Twitter at Nita Bougie, and I will get back to you. Okay? So if there's nothing else, I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.